You know, they say the best kind of mystery is one you never solve.
That is hooey.
Exactly. Which is why I'm here to get to the bottom of this case. The hit mystery caper is getting a much anticipated sequel soon. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, is coming to Netflix and select theaters in December. Before then, let's take a look at the original film and all its hidden secrets. And maybe we can find the donut hole that cracks this case open.
A donut hole in a donut's hole.
I'm Chris Goodmakers, and here are some hidden details and fun facts about Knives Out. The mystery at the heart of Knives Out centers around family patriarch Harlan Thrombey. The prolific author has written dozens of best-selling murder mysteries. He draws inspiration from his own home when it comes to his various plots, and even after his death, his presence lingers in the large estate home. One way this is accomplished is with the ominous large portrait that hangs in the Thrombey home. This large painting may also contain Harlan's immortal soul, judging by how many times it changes expression. Harlan is also holding the same knife which he used on himself, which I guess was his favorite, judging by how it seemed to always be around him. The portrait itself is a bit of cinematic trickery. The painting wasn't actually on set during filming. It was created after the fact and inserted digitally into the film. Maybe because the first couple of times they painted it, it looked like old Timothy Hutton. Knives Out is directed by filmmaker Rian Johnson. Most people know the director for the controversial Star Wars: The Last Jedi. That movie had its supporters and detractors, but I think we can all agree that it wasn't the hot garbage that Rise of Skywalker was. Ugh. Really? Anyway, that's not his only past film. Knives Out isn't even his first whodunit. The director's debut feature was the Joseph Gordon-Levitt starring Brick. In fact, it was Levitt's first major film since his younger days and started his comeback. The high school set film noir was a cult hit and helped Ryan move into larger films. And he brought JGL with him to every one. Knives Out is no exception. You can't see him, but Levitt's voice can be heard as the television police detective on the show Marta's sister is insensitively watching.
Nobody. You slashed his face open, you left him bleeding in the street.
Levitt isn't the only past actor that Ryan brought along with him. I guess if you made a Star Wars movie, why wouldn't you bring Yoda along with you to your next project? Frank Oz is the man behind the Little Green Jedi. He also plays the lawyer who has to deal with all of the Thrombey's endless bickering. Yes, Harlan's lawyer is Yoda, who by the way is also the voice of Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, and other iconic puppets. This guy is like the Hank Azaria of the Muppets. Oz is even a director in his own right, having made amazing movies like The Dark Crystal and Bowfinger. Hopefully he wasn't a backseat director for Johnson. Personally though, I would take any advice from the man who gave us Peter Dinklage jumping out of a coffin while high on LSD. Before his death, Harlan was a tried and true drama mama. One of the ways this manifested was in the letters he wrote to his daughter. It was a game they would play that involved invisible ink and a lighter. This comes back at the end when Linda finds the letter telling her about her husband's infidelity. This reveal is expertly foreshadowed a few times throughout the film. Earlier, when Linda is looking over the old letters from her father, you can clearly see scorch marks from the lighter. There are also a few quick moments when you can see light through the blank page and actually see the invisible ink. The prop department was not cutting corners that day. Benoit Blanc is a world-class detective, so it's no surprise that he has a large reputation in the universe of Knives Out. Both Joni and Linda talk about how he was recently featured in a New Yorker article.
You're famous.
We later learned that Ransom was the one who hired Blanc anonymously. He was counting on the PI to uncover Marta's involvement in Harlan's death, thus disqualifying her from being willed everything. Ransom knew about Blanc because he read the same article. You can see a copy of the New Yorker on his table when he opens the blackmail letter from Fran. It backfires on Ransom when Blanc uncovers his involvement. Maybe he just skimmed the article. At least he actually read it, not just a tweet about it. Joni. The Thrombey family is almost universally terrible. Perhaps with the exception of Meg, all of them are all universally self-centered and cruel. A few are even horribly racist. The best example of this is the character played by Jaden Martell. Jacob Thrombey is a literal Nazi, at least according to his uncle. He spends the whole film on his phone, presumably commenting about how some recent genre film is too woke. You know, he's the kind of whiny baby that thinks there are only two genders, men and political. Well, it turns out this character is a direct reaction to the hordes of screeching children that made The Last Jedi's release such a nightmare for the film's actors. He wanted the film to have a sense of modernity, to separate it from its Agatha Christie inspiration. Part of that was including the kind of teenage alt-right troll that haunts Twitter. Jacob's inclusion also led to one of the film's single best lines. There is another callback to Rian Johnson's directorial debut. Brick centers around a high schooler investigating the disappearance of his ex-girlfriend after she becomes involved in the local drug trade. A key clue to her location is a mysterious symbol that represents a concrete tunnel. The same symbol pops up when Marta is engaged in the stupidest car chase ever. When she is flying down an alleyway, you can see the symbol graffitied on a wall. I would make a joke about how they could be set in the same universe, but no one in Knives Out talks like it's the 1940s. There are lots of little moments of improv and ad-libbing in the film, which is rare for a script as perfectly constructed as this one. Jaden Martell himself added a specific line during a climactic moment. When the will is read and the Thromby family explodes in anger, Jaden added the line about Marta being an anchor baby. The first time he did it, it ended up lost in the cacophony. However, Michael Shannon heard the line, thought it was funny as hell, and told Johnson. Johnson agreed to a second take, and the line was accentuated. Shannon himself also ad-libbed a far funnier line when he exclaimed to the whole room, "Not eating one, I own it!" Knives Out is full of little background details that reinforce its continuity and mystery. I already mentioned the New Yorker in Ransom's apartment, but even his decor hints at his crimes. He has a line of amber jugs on a shelf. When he is visited by Marta, one jug is visibly missing. It's the jug he used to burn down the coroner's office. In a great bit of continuity, the jug is present during the parlor scene flashback. There is a lot about Ransom's home and clothes that foreshadow who he is as a character. His apartment is stark and minimalist. We are told he is a constant party boy, so it stands to reason that he doesn't spend much time at home. However, there is something else about Ransom that is very revealing to his character, and it's one of cinema's best sweaters. Ransom has a very distinct style when it comes to his wardrobe. The most distinctive feature is his now iconic cable knit sweater. While it looks incredibly comfortable, a wool cable knit sweater like that is far from cheap. LL Bean currently lists the same sweater for about $175 US. But Ransom doesn't seem like the kind of guy to buy things on sale. However, his sweater is full of holes. You can tell that it's in the midst of deteriorating and won't be long until it's a pile of loose yarn. The state of his clothing reveals a lot about Ransom and his current situation. It's an expensive sweater that he let fall apart. It doesn't even look that old. It's because he isn't bothered to care for his clothing in even a basic way. Ransom is accused of burning through his inheritance, throwing money away at every turn. The sweater shows that aspect. If he valued the cost of the sweater, he would have taken better care of it. Knives Out is filled with great cinematography and perfectly blocked scenes. However, one of the best shots in the film featured a beneficial accident. When Harlan's will is read and the family erupts on Marta, she tries to escape the house with her sanity intact. As she exits the house, the shot is a smooth track right up to her. But when she is joined by the angry family members, the shot becomes far more shaky. The sudden handheld camera creates a sense of unease and discomfort for Marta. However, it was actually the result of mechanical failure. The shot was supposed to be on a Steadicam for the entire scene, but when the equipment broke mid-shot, they were forced to lift the camera off the unit and film the rest of the scene handheld. Rian Johnson had a lot of sources for inspiration when it came to the script for Knives Out. When it came to the Thromby family, he decided to name them all after 70s rock stars. Harlan himself is named after an old choose-your-own-adventure book titled Who Killed Harlow Thromby? Blanc has a very strained metaphor that he leans on later in the film. He talks about how the case has a hole in it. He's unable to reconcile what he has learned with what he knows. He compares the case to a donut, and the hole as the mystery. He even goes further when he talks about the donut hole in the donut's hole. While it seems like a weird and strained metaphor, it's actually reinforced throughout the film. The first is the movie's now iconic Circle of Knives. When Blanc and the police are interviewing the Thrombey family, every member is sat in front of the display. However, no one ever actually sits in the exact center. They are all offset to the left or right. Even Marta, who comes closest to the center, isn't actually in the middle. The only time someone appears in the direct center is Blanc during his parlor scene. He is now in the center of the donut, able to see the whole picture. Nana Thrombey plays a large role in Blanc's detective work. The extremely elderly woman seems to only move when there's a salmon platter on the table. However, looks can be deceiving when it comes to Harlan's aging mother. She saw Ransom return to swap the medicine. It's a great clue when she asks Marta, who she thinks is Ransom, if he is back again.
Ransom, are you back again already?
The actual age of the character is unknown, mostly because the Thrombey family can't be bothered to ask her. If they did, they would have found out she's a lot younger than expected. The actress that plays Nana is Kay Callan, and she is actually 7 years younger than the man playing her son. The late Christopher Plummer was born in 1929, while Callan was born in 1936. She still plays a convincing elder to Plummer. However, her casting makes more sense if Rian Johnson had gone with his first choice for Harlan, which was Kevin Spacey in old age makeup. Plummer swooped in on all those Spacey roles. At this point, I should probably rewatch LA Confidential just to make sure Plummer isn't the lead in that now. Knives Out is a terrific film, and its sequel, Glass Onion, has a lot to live up to. Rian Johnson crafted a film that's so perfectly executed it almost feels effortless.